Assalamualaikum and good day to everyone. I am Farihah Binti Hassan, a senior lecturer from the Faculty of Administrative Science and Policy Studies, UITM, will be presenting our research on title of Leaders' Emotional Intelligence, Influencing Employee Emotions and Empirical Investigations in the Public Sector. This is the overview of the presentations. Okay, I will start the presentations with the introductions of the study, followed by the problem statement, methodology, result and discussions, conclusions, and references. As an introduction, according to Goldman 2009, emotional intelligence can be defined as recognizing our own and others' feelings, motivating ourselves, and effectively managing emotions in ourselves and relationships. Emotional intelligence has grown in popularity to identify potentially effective leaders and develop effective leadership skills impacting the employee emotional health. As the working environment becomes more demanding and challenging, not only in the private sector, but also in the public sector, good interpersonal and intrapersonal relationships between the leaders and employee are necessary. Leaders and employees must be able to work together, influence others positively, and find faster and more creative ways to complete tasks, all of which come from good emotional health. Therefore, this study is significantly important to examine how leaders' emotional intelligence can influence employees' emotions in the workplace. It focuses on the employees in the public sector due to the growing demand for excellent public services, especially those frequently and directly interacting with the public communities. Emotional stability among employees is important in any organizational setting, including the public sector. The public sector consists of the government organizations, including the federal government, state and cities. Their services include education, welfare, the legal system, employment, natural resources, and health services. In that, the public sector is no exception for personnel management. The harmony and well-being among employees are key priorities for all public sector organizations. In the public sector context, employees are accountable for the successful implementations of the governance and national development. Indirectly, their positions and role as executor of the government commercial activities in the developments are important. Even though the public sector is not entirely profit-driven, the employee should consist of extremely matured and skilled individuals of high competence and integrity. Civil servants are required to have in-depth knowledge and comprehensions of public law and policy, and the capacity to maintain a positive relationship with the public, implying that they must have the high emotional intelligence level. Consequently, coping calmly with the emotions at work is crucial for leaders in this sector. In Malaysia, one of the institutions frequently interacting with the community is the Institute for Rural Advancement, known as INFRA. INFRA is one of the government institutions under the Ministry of Rural Development, playing a role in ensuring the excellence of the rural community. The major goal of this institution is to strengthen the rural institutions and communities by delivering high-quality training. It is a challenge for the institution's member to ensure that every piece of information is accurate and understood by the surrounding community. Authorities must first ensure two-way communication and reciprocity between the ministries and the general public to increase cooperation, reciprocity, and collaborative task education. It is indicated that this institution is crucial in leveraging emotional intelligence among its staff and leaders. However, there is still a lack of research conducted in these institutions, although these institutions has higher collaboration with the society. Based on this gap, this study was conducted to measure the leaders' emotional intelligence in the public sector institution represented by INFRA in influencing the employees' emotion. In terms of the methodology, purposive sampling technique is being used in order to collect the data from the respondent. The study focused on a few criteria in the selection within the purposive sampling technique based on service group and length of services. The focus remained on the government staff from infra, consisting of the management and professional group and support group. A self-administrated questionnaire was developed and distributed to the 213 respondents. The questionnaire was obtained the ethics approval from the Research Ethics Committee. It aimed to identify how the attribute of the emotional intelligence shown by the leaders influence the employee emotions in the workplace. The data gathered was subsequently analyzed using the SMART PLS 3.0 through measurement and structural model, focusing on the reliability, validity, and significant relationship between these variables. Therefore, this is the research framework developed based on the study hypothesis. We have here 5 hypotheses for this study. The first one is to identify the relationship between how leaders recognize emotions and employee emotion in the workplace. For the second variable, is going to look into the relationship between how leaders regulate others' emotions and employee emotion in the workplace. The third variable is going to look into the relationship between how leaders regulate their own emotions and employee emotions in the workplace. The fourth hypothesis is going to look into the relationship between leaders' sensibility of patients and employee emotion in the workplace. And the last hypothesis is going to look into the relationship between how leaders utilize their own emotions and employee emotions in the workplace. Now we are going to look into the result and the discussions. Based on the structural model analysis, it was proven that recognitions of the emotions, utilize own emotion, and sensibility of passions of leaders in the public sector, represented by the infra, significantly influence employee positive emotions. It reflects that excellent service delivered to the community as stakeholder. The study finding conclude that the leader's emotional intelligence linked through recognizing the emotions, utilizing their own emotion, and sensibility of patients, all of which are crucial in developing effective leadership, whereby it will influence employee emotions, contributing to the organization's service of excellence. It is significant not only for the private sector but also for the public sector, as employees in this sector are held accountable for the successful implementations of the governance and national developments as proven by the study's finding. Right, so by looking into the result, it also shows that these findings are similar to a previous study done by Harnawati in year 2018, mentioning that while the public sector is not entirely profit-driven, public employees should be extremely matured and skilled individuals with high competence and integrity. For organizing the emotion and utilizing own emotions, it is proven that the leaders in these particular sectors have successfully played their role to recognize and utilize their own emotion. It creates positive vibe in the working environment that finally will reflect the employee emotions and increase the employee and organization's performance. Furthermore, great leaders with high emotional intelligence should be able to manage their own emotion and comprehend and overcome obstacles in their subordinates. These attributes will help leaders acquire their subordinate confidence and trust. And this finding is also consistent with the previous study, highlighting the importance for leaders to manage the elements of emotions, either their subordinate emotions or their own emotions in the workplace that can motivate employees to perform better. This is similar with the research done by Van in year 2012, Corney and Roth in 2010, and Bryan in 2007. Beside that, based on the research conducted by the Sharma in 2020, They added that to their study how this result would significantly contribute to the employee trust and voice, which might also reflect the performance. Okay, the subordinate trust leaders displaying positive emotional characteristic more than those displaying negative emotional characteristic. For the variable of the sensibility of patient, concerning the sensibility of patient construct, the study found that leaders in this sector also managed to discover their own patients and employees' patient, reflecting how they have assigned tasks according to their own passion and interests. The leader's passion may be a sources of employee work patients, which may be passed down through emotional contagion, as also discussed previously by Wang in year 2015 and Cardon in year 2008. Okay, concerning the employees, when the leaders are able to recognize their employee patients, the leader can assign tasks to those appearing to be more enthusiastic about the task rather than those showing the resentment and fear. Therefore, it is significantly affect the employee positive emotions and create a better employee performance. On the other hand, for the variable of the regulations of owns and other emotions, it has shown an insignificant relationship with employees' emotions in this study. Okay, it is concluded that the leaders in this sector fail to create positive emotions in their employees by regulating their owns or employees' emotions. Okay, from the previous study, mostly highlighted the importance of leaders regulating their own emotion, including self-control and the ability to resist gratification, to set an example for their subordinates or employee. This is from the research done by the Howard and Iving in year 2014 and Chen, etc. all in year 2015. Okay, however, this study shown that leaders fail to control and regulate their own emotion, reflecting negative emotion in this sector's employee. Okay, and then another study done by Yasmin in year 2016 and Barley in year 2006 provided some useful insight into how to assist leaders in understanding, regulating, controlling, and utilizing their emotions to finally regulate others' emotions and be more productive in their business. As a result, the study will consider the insight that when it comes to managing the relationship, leaders should have a high level of empathy and the ability to inspire drive, idealistic influence, and individual consideration. As a conclusion, this study addressed the leader emotional intelligence in influencing employees' emotion in the public sector in Malaysia. The study is conducted to answer a fundamental questions on the relationship of leaders' emotional intelligence, consisting of recognizing emotion, regulating own and others' emotions, and utilizing emotion and sensibility of patients with employees' emotion. The main finding shows that recognitions of emotion, sensibility of patients, and utilize own emotions of leader in the public sector impact employees' internal and external emotion. It explains how the leader's empathy, demonstrated by appreciating and understanding their subordinate feelings and providing emotional support, create a sense of security among employees. At the same time, having a sense of patience among leaders allow them to assign tasks to people appearing to be more enthusiastic about the task than those showing animosity and worry. As a result, leaders with high emotional recognition skill can detect their team emotional indicator. Consequently, their subordinates will be more likely to work on a project that are a good fit for them, perform better and produce satisfaction. For example, Infra is not alone in ensuring that effort to restore and develop the rural economy will be expedited after the pandemic that hits the country. Various innovative approaches and strategies must be evaluated to realize the institution's aim and objective. Okay, the finding also provide a better understanding of how leaders' emotional states may influence employee behavior and performance. Strong emotional intelligence can help form more productive teams, and develop stronger relationships. Employees want leaders who are always there and treat others with respect. They seek leaders who are fair, self-aware, and capable of working well. Future studies on leaders' emotional intelligence should expand and examine a wider array of civil servants from different departments and incorporate others indicators, such as the cultural setting of the department. Alright, so that's all from me. Thank you very much.